Hey everybody, it's Paula. Welcome to my channel, Stitching in High Heels. This is where I talk about my love of all things cross stitch, some other crafts that I do from time to time, like crocheting or some mixed media crafting with my stitching, and a little bit of life in general. If you're new here, welcome. I hope you find something you like and that you'll stay and that you'll subscribe. Like the video, all the things we do on YouTube, right? If you're one of my returning friends, welcome back. I'm glad you're here and glad you chose to spend some of your day with me. Today is Wednesday evening, July 17th. I'm filming on a really off day for me, but it's been really hot here in upstate New York, like it has been a lot of places. And today's the first day that I've been able to turn the air conditioner off in my crafting area, so you wouldn't have that running full bore in the background. Hopefully I can hold out a little bit and keep it off tonight. It's already starting to get warm in here, but it's raining. It's about 7 o'clock at night. It's cooling down, so we'll see how we make it through here. I've got a bunch of things to show. Last time was kind of a quick video. This one will be a little bit longer. I've got a bunch of things to show, some things I really want to talk to you about. I've got some notes over here, so if you see me looking to my right, that's what that'll be about. And I hope my lighting's good here. Kind of experimenting with the setup, and hopefully things don't get too blown out. So let's see. Well, first of all, let's talk about some FFOs. If you've been with me for a while, you know that I'm participating in WIPGO, which is a bingo style challenge created by Jessie Marie Does Stuff here on YouTube and on Instagram. And she also has a Facebook group, which I'll link below. And one of my, so I did 3 boards this year. One of my boards is to fully finish ornaments that I've previously stitched, because I had a whole pile of them. And my second board is to stitch ornaments that I've had fabric sitting around for several years. There was a fabric store that used to sell ornament cuts when the Just Cross Stitch Christmas Ornament issue came out. And that was like 2002, 3, 4. So a little embarrassing that those fabric cuts have sat around for that long. But I'm getting some of them stitched this year. And then my third board was my regular WIP, or work in progress board. And I made some really good progress on my WIPs. I got a couple of finishes to show you today. But let's start with the FFOs. So this first one is salt boxes, and this is a little, pardon my raggedy board here. My good board has something else on it that I want to show you later. This is Salt Boxes by Little House Needleworks. It's stitched on a piece of Heritage, I believe, by Picture This Plus. You see it's got a really nice grayish-greenish cast to it. Here's the fabric I put on the back, some trees with a little bit of sparkle. The colors went nice, I thought. And then the hanger is just made out of some printed ribbon that I got. I don't know if it was Michael's, Hobby Lobby, Joann's, one of those. It's on a spool. And then I've had these sparkly buttons. You've seen them on another ornament, so I just used them to kind of finish it off. So there's one. And I'm way behind with my finishing my ornaments, because when May came, I was really concentrating on stitching on my Mirabilias. So I stitched a lot on Garden Verses, Inkberry Holly, Pixie, and I finished Snapdragon in May, and which I know you guys have seen. You'll see her again a little bit. I have something I want to show you with her, and then also Charlotte. So when May hit, I got way behind on WIPGO. I didn't finish any ornaments. I think I did stitch some ornaments, but I'm just way behind. And I have to totally reorganize my work in progress board, because I had Garden Verses on there like 5 times because I really wanted to finish her this year. And she is finished, and I don't think that all the numbers that I had her slotted for, like, she was available to work on. So I got to figure that out, and I'll do that, I don't know, maybe later this evening or this week at some point. But anyway, So I don't remember what month I was supposed to finish salt boxes for, but, and then this is another little house ornament, and this is Tweet. And I apologize, I don't remember what any of these fabrics are that they were stitched on. So for this one, it was not completely square. So what I did was I cut a little bigger on the bottom, and I put this lace on. I don't know if you can see, it was kind of wonky, and I tried to put it on straight and used some little red seed beads in there. I'm not sure how well you can see that, but it's still not completely straight, but I'm fairly happy with how it came out. And because it has all the cardinals in it, this is the backing fabric that I used. Again, just something I found in Michael's or Hobby Lobby. And then I had a printed ribbon with cardinals on it that I used for the hanger, and just used some snowflake buttons to attach it. Hold on one second, my screen's saying something weird here. Alright, I'm back. Saw something weird on the settings on the camera, and I wanted to check it out quick. Sorry about that. So that was Tweet, another Little House Needleworks ornament. And the last one I have finished is it's just called Christmas Ornament 2004 by Periwinkle Promises. And here it is. Seemed like a simple finish was really the best way to go with this. This was a fun one to stitch. It's got some black work, some queen stitches, and I used a Needle Necessities floss in a variegated red, just on plain white even weave. And then the hanger is just some crystals I had bought when I was doing a pin class at the Jingle Ball last year, and this ornament, peppermint bead, and then the backing fabric is just those peppermint candies. So those are my 3 FFOs. I've got, you'll see in plans, I've got several more to do to get caught up with WIPGO, so hopefully I'll get a few more of them done this month. It's been kind of busy, and we're already well past halfway through the month, right? Can't believe it. And I know everybody's been saying that lately, but we are, you know, well past the midway point of the year. So now, let's talk about my finishes. And I'm really excited to show this first one to you. So this is Garden Verses by Mirabilia. And there she is. Let's see if we can get her completely in the picture there. And then let me bring her up closer. So I made her a redhead. She is stitched 2/2 on mushroom jobelin. And I used all the called for DMCs. The metallics I subbed out. It called for that old nasty 284Z stuff that was on a spool. Any of you have been that were stitching in like the 80s or 90s probably remember it. It was horrid. So it called for that, so I subbed out, and it used that thread, and then that thread blended with one of the dark brown DMCs. So I used 2 colors of DMCs, Diamante, not sure how to say that, one in a gold, and one was a gold wrapped with black. And I used them instead of blending. And I don't know if you can see them there. This piece has a whole lot of the metallic in it, this section. So it gave a little bit of shading. And again, there's her skirt and the columns and the carpet that she's on. And then one more time, let me show you all of her, because I'm really happy to have her done. I had wanted to have her done for the Queen City Stitch Retreat last October. And obviously that did not happen. So, other than subbing out the metallics, the other change I made is, I'm not sure if you can see it on here, but there was a metallic border that went all the way around the piece. I think you can see that there, right? These metallics weren't horrible to work with, but I didn't like them enough to stitch that whole border. So I figure when I have her framed, I'll do something with the frame so there's not, you know, not this whole big empty section. Where's her face? Over here. So maybe I'll do, you know, like an arched frame or something, arched mat on the frame or something. So we'll figure that out. That's a problem for future Paula. Not sure. I have a good framer at my Hobby Lobby. He's a stitcher himself, and he's really I really like the way he frames my pieces. So I'm not sure if I'll take this one to Hobby Lobby or if I'll send this one to Jill Rensel along with my Dragon from Teresa Wensler. And then I have not one finish, but two, and they're both mirabilious. And let me get her up here. So this is Inkberry Holly Pixie. There she is. And she is stitched 1/1 with the called for DMC on Stormy 25 count Stormy Clouds Lugana, which is a printed standard fabric from Zweigart. And I swapped out Petite Treasure Braid color PB81 excuse me, for the beads she was supposed to have. I'm not sure what color the Mill Hill beads that were called for are. I think because they're, so it's kind of on the edges of her wings, if you can see that, and in her headdress. And they looked kind of black in the picture. And this is a blackish purple, so I thought it went nicely with the berries. And I could have gotten, so when you do over one, the recommended size of seed bead is a size 15. And they can be kind of hard to find, but Fire Mountain Gems, for one, has a pretty good selection of them. But she didn't call for that many of them. And I would have had to buy a fairly big package, and I'm not sure what I would have used them for. And I'm very much this year trying to use what I have. So I had gotten this Petite Treasure Braid for another project and not used it. So I used it here. So what I wanted to show you is, I know if you guys have seen my previous episodes, you've seen my finish of Snapdragon, which is another Nora Corbett Pixie. And I stitched her 2/2 on a mystery pink 28 count even weave. And here she is. You see her there. Remember her? And then here's Inkberry Holly next to her. So there you can see the two of them. Now it's not completely apples to apples because, like I said, Snapdragon is on a 28 count. Inkberry is 1/1 on a 25 count. But they're the same number of stitches high. They're both 187 stitches high. And this just gives you, I thought it was kind of an interesting example of the difference in size between 2/2 and 1/1. So, like I said, I just thought it was kind of cool, and it intrigued me a little bit. So those are my finishes, my FFOs. But, and once I finished, so I finished Garden Verses, and then I really pushed to finish Inkberry. And once I got her done, I really had a hard time settling on what else I wanted to work on. I'm sure you guys know how that feels. Pardon my coughing. So I've picked up a bunch of other things. I haven't really paid attention to WIPGO calls necessarily, but I picked up a bunch of other things that I've been working on. And so the first one I picked up was Loose Feathers by Blackbird Designs, and this is the summer one. And I know you guys have seen this. This is the one, there's summer, fall, and winter. There's no spring. It's a 3-part series, and I'm going to be stitching all 3 of these. But the other thing I want to do, and if you have Blackbird charts, you know that they usually come, there's a big piece and then there's smaller pieces. And I don't know why it never really caught my attention before, but look at that small one on the back there, that tulip kind of one. I really want to stitch that one too. So I really need to get going and get stitching on this one. So here's where I'm at. I finished up the bird. I didn't get a lot done on it. I finished up the dark parts of the bird. I've got some of the lighter stitching to do. There's another star type thing that goes up here. One of these days I'll figure out how it is that I'm supposed to, which direction I'm supposed to point in. And then there's the letters on the bottom. And then I can move on to fall. So this is a nice, comfortable stitch. I'm stitching it 2/2 on 32 count antique lace Lugana by Seraphim Fabrics. And I'm using all the called for threads. I had purchased them when I purchased the set of charts. I also picked up Summer Quaker by Leela Studios. And I know you guys have seen this before. Lots of folks are working on this one. So that's what it's going to look like. And I'm stitching this 2/1 on 18 count Latte Ada. Latte was the model color. I'm using Ada instead of linen. And I'm working in this centerpiece because, you know, all that water is absolutely no joke. And I wanted to get that done before I moved to all the fun stuff in the border. So I worked some more on filling the water in here, and I made a mistake. Anybody who's got a real familiarity with this piece will know that there are supposed to be 3 fishes down there in front of the whale. I've got 2. I was working on this while I was at a 911 shift, and I was just singing along, filling in the ocean without looking at the chart, and I missed that there was supposed to be another fish in there. So we're going to go with 2. I'm not going to rip it out and put another one in. And, you know, it's a personalization. And anybody who, you know, unless you see the chart, you're not going to know, right? Anyway, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. But I did make some more progress on the water there. And I also picked up To All a Good Night by Autumn Lane Stitchery. So I am going to the Queen City Stitch Retreat again in October. And this year the featured designer is Autumn Lane Stitchery. And I got this. This has been released, generally released, but I did get this 2 years ago as part of the Black Needle Society Nice Box. So it came fully kitted with all the suggested materials, which are DMC and 28 count opalescent white cashel. So here's where I'm at. I filled in more on this top part here. There's actually the 2 darkest colors of blue are completely finished, and now there's going to be more of this shade of blue around here. So it's fill-in work. I was working on this also at the 911 Center. It's kind of easy. Once you get the like, if you look, so there's Ho 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 and this snowflake down here. They're all not stitched, so the white opalescent will show through. Anything that's white is not stitched, which is pretty cool on this chart. So once I get Ho 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 lined out, I've got Santa and his reindeer stitched, and then I'll have to outline the snowflake, and then it'd be a whole bunch of fill-in. So that makes it really good for shifts at the 911 Center. The phones aren't busy. It also makes it go quickly. So there are times when I don't feel like doing fill-in, and then I've got plenty of other projects to work on. But there's times where that's almost like comfort stitching, right? Let me check my notes here. So, yep, that's what I wanted to talk about there. And then I did work on a couple of my ornaments for my WIPGO calls. And this is, bear with me here while I get the right name. This is Nativity Knot. It's by Forget Me Not in Stitches from the Just Cross Stitch 2003 ornament issue. And I'm stitching it on 32 count antique white linen. And I've changed up the materials a little bit, and I apologize, I didn't bring the magazine up here with the cover. Changing up the materials a little bit. It called for DMC 310, or no, it's stitched in silk, so it was a black I don't remember if it was an Veriswa, but it was a black silk and a gold and Krynic in gold. And I'm using number 12 pearl cotton DMC in 310, just for something different. And then I'm going to be using a petite treasure braid for the gold. It's kind of a black gold. Again, just for something different. So these stitches here on the side, that wavy stitch, that's actually stem stitch and embroidery stitch. So that's been fun. I've been enjoying doing that, and it goes pretty quickly. I had to reacquaint myself. It's been a long time since I did any kind of surface embroidery, so I had to reacquaint myself with stitch. But there's a couple of really good YouTube videos out there. So once I got into the rhythm of it, it went really quickly. So I'll be looking forward to getting back to that. That should be a finish by the next time we get together. And then the other one that I stitched is Holly and Hardanger. It's a sweetheart tree ornament, and it's from the, bear with me here, 2005 just cross stitch ornament issue. And I'm using all the called for materials. This is a natural Belfast in opalescent. Not sure if you see the sparkle there. So I've got some beads to put on here, and this is the Hardanger part in here in the center. So there's some eyelet stitches, and then I've got to do some cutting and weaving of bars, and that's not something I'm willing to do. The cutting especially I'm not willing to do when I'm paying attention to phones and such. So that I'll be working on that here shortly. And then that'll be a finish too. So hopefully that'll be 2 finishes already for next time, right? And last but not least, I worked on the 12th Day of Christmas by the Cat's Whiskers Designs. And there's what it looks like. It's you can either stitch these as individual ornaments or one big piece. I'm stitching it as a big piece. And I've looked, and I'm not sure the copyright on this. I think it is somewhere in the 1990s anyway, when Cat's Whiskers was designing, or maybe it was early 2000s. I just don't remember. I apologize. Yeah, there's nothing, if I remember correctly, there's absolutely nothing on here for a date. Yeah. But anyway, I'm stitching this on 32 count opalescent white Belfast in using 2/2, using Weeks Dye Works Bethlehem. So you can see how variegated that is. And the Bethlehem is this, the 12 drummers drumming there. You see how variegated that is? And I got thinking about it, and if you look here on the cover chart, like the Pipers and the Lords of Leaping, these solid ones, these Assisi style ones, if you look at, let me show you again, look at the border here. And this, the variegation in this changes very quickly. It's like 5 or 6 stitches, and then it changes color. And then the other issue that I'm having is I bought all these skeins at the same time, but they do seem very, very different, the coloring in them. And I love it, don't get me wrong. It's definitely not traditional Christmas colors, but I still like it. But if you can see, some of them are darker, some of them are lighter. And I can't tell, you know, like I said, I got them at the same time, but maybe they were still different dye lots. But I just thought it would be too busy in these solidly filled in squares. So what I decided to do, each square has a border, so I'm going to do all the borders in the variegated thread. And then I got my DMC color card out, and I picked colors that match some of the main colors in the thread. So I came up with, let me see if there's a good way to show these here. So I came up with, these are DMC colors, so I picked 34, and 550. And then the color that matches best, the green, is DMC 522, which is this one here. But when I stitched the back stitch on the drum, it seemed very light. So I think I'm going to stitch with 520. And what I'm going to do is, so like this top one, which is the Pipers, I'm stitching in DMC 34. Then the Lords of Leaping down here, I'm going to do them in 550. And the Swans of Swimming, I'm going to do in 520. And then I'll repeat that sequence. So the Swans of Swimming, Geese a Laying, I guess those are, right? They're going to be in 34. The 3 French Hens, they're going to be in 550. And the Turtle Doves will be in 520. So I'm going to do that. And then all these other ones where the designs are stitched and not the background, then I'm going to stitch them in the Weeks Dye Works Bethlehem. So we'll see how it comes out. Like I said, it just the thread is just way too busy. I think you would lose the design. And here's another look at it. I kind of like how it's looking so far. So this has 2 more stitching days to meet my WIPGO goal this year, so I should get a fairly decent amount done. I do have to say the squares where the background is stitched rather than the design, they go pretty quickly. So I don't know, let me know what you think about that. If it's not a good idea, great idea. I do know that I am not going to stitch the entire thing in the variegated floss. So if you have a different idea other than what I came up with, maybe a different color, let me know. Let's talk about it, because I want to stitch it. I like the design. My original plan wasn't working, and that's why I put it away. I realized pretty early on that those fully stitched squares were not gonna, that thread was not gonna work. So I kind of didn't know what to do. So like I said, I sat down, pulled out my DMC color card. If you don't have one, if you can manage to get one or afford to get one, I use mine all the time. I know some other folks have said they use it too. It's very valuable to have when you're trying to change floss colors, and I know there's a website now that'll tell you what the next closest DMC color is to a color if you don't have it, but I like looking at the thread card. It's got actual swatches of the thread, so you get a really good representation of what the colors are. And it's also good for if you have a kit that doesn't use DMC floss or doesn't use the DMC numbers and you run out, it's easy to match and be able to substitute from your stash. So that's everything that I've worked on. Actually done a pretty decent amount of stitching, and I'm pretty happy with that. And I'm going to talk a little bit about plans. So I want to get back on track with my ornament finishing, of course. So here's what I have left to get caught up, and I'll show you them real quick. This is a Christmas Blessing, and this is by Full Circle Designs. It's from the Just Cross Stitch 2005 ornament issue. And again, I apologize, I don't know if I stitched these with all of the recommended materials, if I substituted, no idea. And this one is by Twisted Oaks. This is just called Christmas Tree. This one's also from the 2005 ornament. That was a fun one. And I think this was all stitched with Threadworks or Needle Necessities flosses. But that was a fun one. I've got an idea of what I want to do with this one. This is Nordic Reflections by the Nordic Needle. And this also is from the 2005 Just Cross Stitch Ornament issue. This is Silver and Blue Christmas by Art Mishka. And this is from the 2020 Just Cross Stitch Ornament issue. I had a plan for this one, and it's not going to work out because I don't have enough thread around the edges, or fabric around the edges, but we'll see what I can do to finish this one. And this is Guiding Star by Thread Dream Studios, also from the 2020 Just Cross Stitch Ornament. And I'm not sure if these last two you can see, but this is stitched on white and silver, probably Lugana. Not sure what the count is, but they're nice and sparkly. And then the last one is Hope Tree by Rosewood Manor Designs, also from the 2020 Just Cross Stitch Ornament. This one I used a braid and rode stitches in there. I think they were supposed to be just snowflakes, but I switched them up to rode stitches. So that hopefully, I don't know that I'll have all of them finished by the time we meet again, but hopefully I'll have some of them finished, make more progress on that. I mean, really, I'm going to count it as a success if I get all 25 of my, the goal of all 25 of them finished by the end of the year. So if I'm a little behind, I'm not stressing about it. I just want to get caught up, because it does take time, and the reason that they languished for so long was I was always afraid that if I just, you know, I would get into a rut with finishing them, and I feel like with a bigger group like this, that has potential to happen again. So we'll get back at it, get them finished. I have ideas for a couple of them already. I've had some ideas for quite a while for them, so we'll get back at it. And then also to get caught up with my whips on my WIPGO board, I do know that I have to work on Peacock Tapestry by Teresa Wensler. That has to have 4 days. 2 more days on the 12th day, and then 4 days on Edith Wolford. And that's a purple and yellow iris that was designed by Silver Lining Designs. And I didn't bring it up because there's like next to nothing on it. And that'll be an easy stitch, but I think I put all my threads away, so I gotta pull them out and get back to working on that one. And then I need you guys to weigh in. I'm looking for some opinions here. So I've become addicted, pardon me, I'm just grabbing the rest of my stuff here. Kind of become obsessed. I don't know if addicted is a good word, but I've become obsessed with stitching these pixies over one, or in smaller counts. It was a lot of fun to do. They're small enough that they go pretty quickly. So now that I've finished Inkberry, and I've been collecting some of them, I've had some of them before, I've been collecting some other ones. So I'm not sure what one I want to work on next. So let me show you what I've got, the pieces that are, and they're actually not all pixies, but I want to start another over one piece. So let me show you what I've got, and let me know which one you guys like, and we'll see what I come up with. So the first one is Foxglove. Oh, look at the colors in those. Isn't she gorgeous? Not sure what kind of fabric I would do her on, but she is absolutely gorgeous. And I went ahead and got all the petite treasure braids to sub out for the beads for her. She does have quite a few beads, but the treasure braid worked up so nicely on the 25 count that I'm not worried about that. So that's Foxglove. This is Miss Black Swallowtail. I love the colors in her too. I'm not usually a pink and orange person, so Foxglove is a little unusual for me. These are more my colors, the blues, greens, teals. But she's lovely too. So that is Miss Black Swallowtail. Then here is Anemone. Anemone? Yeah. And aren't her jewel tones pretty? That's blues and reds. So number 3 is Anemone. And I've got a bunch of them, so, you know, a lot of choices. And then this is a full-size Mirabilia. This is Starlet, but she only has one color of beads. She's not super beaded. And I love the colors in her. And she uses, I think Nora did her to use a lot of the newer DMC colors when they were released, because she uses a lot of the double digits, the 20 series, the 30 series, and then like 154 is another color. So there she is. She's pretty. She's a little bigger, but, you know, without a lot of beads, she could be done over one. And then this one is, and this has been one of my favorites for a long time, this is Feather Fairy. She's also a full-size Mirabilia. Isn't she adorable? I love those blue feathers in her skirt. And I have a fun fabric to do her on. And I'm sure you guys know Fiber Arts Amy here on YouTube started a business dyeing fabric, and she's Oak Crown Studios. I'll link her below. And I have zero business buying any more fabric because I've been collecting fabric for almost 40 years. I started stitching seriously when I got out of college in 1988, and I haven't stopped. Even when I wasn't stitching so much, I was still collecting. And I love fabric. And there's so many pretty fabrics. Especially when, like, Picture This Plus came out. You know, that was like a whole new world if you were stitching back then and remember. So before that we had, you know, white, antique white, or black. And we had mostly Aida. And then there was oatmeal Aida if you wanted to be really fancy. You know, so when all the colors started coming out, it was just amazing. But look at this fabric. This is, well, actually, for Feather Fairy, she'd be this way. So there's blue from the sky, and like green and yellow for the grass. And it is blown out a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, no, bringing it close. Let's see if putting this behind it will help at all. But I think she'd be good on this. I got to do a floss toss. But I kind of like the idea of doing her on this. And this is a 20 count Aida. I also have it in 32 count. So this is the part that I really don't need to be doing. I also have it in 32 count linen. I get 2 fat quarters from Amy every month. And I keep saying I don't need any more fabric. And then the fabric of the month comes. And I'm like, all right, just one more. You know how that goes? Just one more. And then I keep saying, well, I'll drop down to just one piece. But, I mean, the colors are so beautiful, and it'll give me options for doing these little stitches. So anyway, this would go with Feather Fairy, I think. And again, I got to do a floss toss to see if that'll actually work, or maybe I'll have to tweak the colors. And then the other piece the other option I've got is this fabric was the fabric of the month this month. And it's kind of blown out a little bit. It's a little deeper. It's not quite as pinky as this shows. But it's it's a pinkish red. It's a really gorgeous color. And Amy always puts these great little notes on it. And when this one came out, she said, what can I say? It's hot as hell here in the U.S. It has felt like I'm sitting by a fire for a few weeks now. I totally know what she means. But it's not all bad. My family has also been enjoying campfire s'mores and fireflies with friends in the evenings. I've always thought that June's Pearl Fairy for Mirabilia would look amazing on red. Dragons would be another classic choice. This is also a great red for any Christmas or patriotic design that lends itself to a background with a bit of personality. Have fun, let your imaginations run wild. I got thinking about it. She mentioned Christmas, right? And look at this piece. And I've had in my collection for quite some time this piece from, now this is not a Mirabilia, this is a Butternut Road by Marilyn Levitt Imblum, and I hope I can show this to you without a lot of glare. This is called, what is this called? Christmas Visit. And it's a lady in a beautiful gray dress. And if you can kind of see, there's just a hint of a door in the background there. And I'm not sure what that's stitched with. It looks like a very light gray. But I'm thinking gray and red are going to look smashing together. And she has, calls for blending filament. which I don't know, I have to see where that is. I might sub it out for a metallic. But she doesn't have any beads. She's a perfect candidate for doing on like a 20 count and making her a little bit smaller, because Marilyn's designs are just as big as Nora's. If you've been around for a while, you know that Nora Corbett is Marilyn Levitt Emblem's daughter. And when she was at the Stitch Retreat last year, she talked about you know, some of the things her mom taught her about designing. So what do you think? That would be great on that red fabric, wouldn't it? So, I do have to look. She's got some red in her headdress, or on her hat. I guess it's not a headdress, right? It would be a hat if you're out at Christmas time. So that may have to be changed up a little bit. I don't know. Maybe I could go with a red or a gold. I mean, a green or a gold or something. But other than that, the only other reds in the piece are mixed in with other things. Like there's some red in the bustle on her dress, but that's surrounded by the gray. So anyway, all right. So chime in, guys. Let me know what you think. Should we do Christmas Visit on the red? Or, let me pull these back out, because I've been rambling here. Or Feather Fairy. And I've got that gorgeous gradient fabric for that. Starlit, which I'm sure I have something beautiful for her too. I'm not sure. I didn't pull fabrics for all of these. Just these two fabrics were the most recent fabrics of the month, and they kind of grabbed my attention. Or Anemone with her beautiful jewel tones. Miss Black Swallowtail with all her pretty teals and blues. Or Foxglove with her beautiful orange wings and her pink dress. So let me know which one you guys like best. They're all going to get stitched eventually. Isn't that what we tell ourselves about our stash? It's all going to get stitched eventually. But I'm not sure where I want to start. So let me know. Be curious to hear your opinions. And let's see, other than that, life stuff. So I am delayed in filming. I should have filmed 4th of July weekend, but we were camping, and that was kind of adventurous. We had some severe storms come through the campground, and one of the arms on our awning was bent because we couldn't get to it in time to pull it in, and there was too much water on it. It bent the arm. So we have to get that fixed because we leave August 1st to go on vacation in Tennessee for 2 weeks. So this weekend, I'm not sure how much stitching we're going to have this weekend, because not only are we going to have my mom's dog, my mom has a 1-year-old Chihuahua mix, and my mom is going with my sister and my youngest nephew. He plays travel baseball, and they're going to be in Florida for a week at a tournament down in the Pensacola Beach area. So we're going to have my mom's dog. So that she likes to play and get attention, and of course we hate every minute of it, and our dogs play with her, but they're older, so she turns to the humans. But we also are going to the Buffalo area on Sunday, I think. Anyway, we found a lady who has brand new awning arms, so we can fix that ourselves instead of trying to get into a dealership or get a RV repair guy to fix it for us. So that's going to take most of the day. Buffalo's about 4.5 hours from us. And then, like I said, August 1st, we leave for Tennessee for 2 weeks. We're going to be mostly in the eastern part of the state, but we're also going to look at the south central part of the state, just over the border from Huntsville. My company has an office in Huntsville, and we're kind of looking to relocate to Tennessee. So check out that area if we like it. It might solve part of the issue because there's some hesitation to let me work remote full-time. So we'll see. We're going to go check that out, look around, check out the area, see what we think. And let's see, other than that, that is pretty much it. So I'm going to wrap this up. I hope you're all staying safe. Just be aware when you're out in public, if you would. Pay attention to what's going on around you. And take care of yourselves, take care of your families. and I'll see you soon. Love you.